Yo, what's happening guys? Welcome back to Tokimotive. Alright, so directions have sort of changed for the S13. The original plan was reassemble the fully forged 30 and slap that in, get it together and drive it. But kind of got a deal I couldn't really pass up and a chance to build something that I have always wanted to build. Like right back before I even went turbo on the original WAGON, which is 6 years ago. Here's what I got. Boss, that was a 25 head. So, got a ripper deal off a mate. Basically, I went to look at a 25-30 that he had there, and we worked out the cost of the head as a percentage of the motor, found a nice price point we were both happy with, and yeah, so now I'm building a forged 25-30 for the S13, which is super exciting. I wanted to do something a bit different because I've been playing around with just 30s for 6+ years. Always wanted to do a 25-30. Now's my chance. Why not? May as well. Got the head for the right price. Only real financial downside to it, because I need to get the full setup anyway, because I'm keeping the WAGON running, driving, drifting, so I'm leaving that setup in there. So regardless, I had to buy everything in terms of bolt-ons regardless. So no extra cost on that. The only thing is the forged pistons that I have, which have seen a hell of a life. They're like not the happiest ever, so it's not the end of the world, but they're a -9 cc. In perspective, you put just a 25 head on a stock 30 bottom end that normally has a 9:1 compression ratio, it'll drop it to about an 8.5 to 8.3, depending on head gasket setup and whether the head and block are skimmed and blah blah blah, a bunch of different little factors, but it drops the compression ratio. So I dare say those forged pistons I've got probably put the forged motor, the forged 30 at probably 8.5. Put the 25 head on top of that, then I'm looking at like 8 or less compression ratio, which is not what I want. I have a plan of what I want, and that's not it. I'm not out here looking to make 1,000 horsepower in the S13. That's kind of pointless to me, considering it's going to be my next level drift car, my step up. You know, IRS rear, can fully set it up, dial in mechanical grip, where the WAGON I'm forever chasing more grip with bigger tires and trying to soften suspension and all this sort of stuff, but I can just crank traction into this thing. So it's going to be sick. It's definitely going to be my next level drift car, and I'm getting super excited with it now, especially because I'm going in a different direction than what I ever have before in terms of motor setup. Twin cam head, like, yeah, sure, that's the only difference, but it's something new, it's exciting, and it makes me really excited to build this motor, more so than just rebuilding a 30. So we'll do a little bit of a pan over of this head, because it's got a few things that are very handy for me, being that it's going on a 30 bottom end. First things first, it came with a plenum, which is sick. That's very handy. And it's a Freddy, so a knockoff Greddy, but they use the exact casting and form from Greddy. It's the Greddy's form for the casting. So the casting on them, despite being a knockoff, is pretty freaking mint. Like, it's even got the little bit for the nameplate for Greddy. If you read my rocker cover though, apparently it's Greddy, but I don't think it is. See, I've got a fitting tapped into the side here. That is for the VCT feed, because the 30 bottom end, you can see there's no feed there for it. You would have something sort of like that. A little restrictor in there and a little bit of a feed right here. But 30s don't have VCT, so what you got to do is either weld it up, or what they've done here is they've grub screwed the VCT feed and then put sealant over it. which I've heard that works perfectly fine. And then you tap a fitting into the side of the head for the new VCT feed, and that you just sort of tee off your oil pressure sensor or something like that. Something that gets a nice positive feed, and then boom, working VCT. So, with working VCT, you can dial your cam timing so that you have a very meaty power curve. Get the turbo coming on hard and fast and low, and then as it starts to taper off, that's where you start to wind the VCT in. You can change the cam timing to a point where it would be a higher rev range power curve. So you get the best of both worlds with it. You can tune it so it's got all that low down meaty power curve in the bottom and mid range, and then open her up to breathe right at the top and just let it scream. Plan to get a high quality balancer for it so that I can actually rev the thing. Gonna have the good oil pump. I've got a crank collar. So I already had this done for the Forge 30 bottom end after I pulled it down. Got a Nitto collar fitted. I've got to get a new oil pump because this one's chewed out. That's the one that came out of it. It was pretty chewed to hell. And then the spare one I've got, it's got a little bit of texture. It might still be usable with a good set of gears in it. I'm going to consult someone that knows a bit more about the nitty-gritties of building an engine than I do. Get a second opinion. If I have to buy a full new 25Det oil pump, then I will. But if I can just do gears, that's going to save me a lot of money. It looks like I'll need new pistons, something that gets a higher comp. What I'm aiming for is around 9:1, because that's what an NA30 is, and that's nice and responsive with boost. The fact that I'm not going to turn this thing to the moon, like I'm not going to let it make 1,000 horsepower or something silly like that. I want it to be my next level drift car, so I don't want crazy amounts of power, but I want plenty of power, if that makes sense. And I want it low down, I want it responsive, I want it snappy, I want it to just work. The idea is I'm going to pull it up at 450, 500 horsepower. Probably going to go something like a 3076 with a 0.82 rear, ball bearing turbo of some description. If it makes 420, and it has a meaty power curve, is super responsive, and that's just where the turbo maxes, which I think I'll get 500 out of a turbo setup like that, as long as the rest of the setup's efficient. I'm fine with that, because I want the biggest on boost power range that I can get without massive fall off at the top. Going down the rabbit hole with it, but at the same time, it means I'm doing something a bit different, and that has me really excited and eager to build it. And let's face it, 25s sound incredible. 25s, 30s sound whoo-hoo, because you got that nice meaty note of like a stroked bottom end, because a 30 bottom end is basically a stroked 25. It's got like a bit over an inch extra deck height on the block. And let's face it, it's going to be an extremely tight fit in an S13. I'm going to have top clearance issues, and with these abomination of tubs that someone has put in here, which I think they're a little bit too hard seam welded in for me to really look at taking them out, so I may try to just make them work, but they might not. I think I'm going to have clearance issues on the tubs for intake and for turbo hot side shit. But it's amazing what loosely slapping the bumper on and some wheels and stuff does for the look of a car. It makes me super excited. I'm very excited to build this thing. Don't know what I'm doing with body kit, whether it's going to be big kit, small kit, stock body, OEM plus, blah blah blah, no idea. I'm probably going to let Facebook Marketplace decide, because I'm probably just going to jump on whatever whim pops up at the time and just build it like that. I can't see images in my head, so I usually just let things evolve by what I see. Don't know what color I'll go with it, don't know any of that. I know I've got to get seats. I'm still deciding if I'm running the half cage or whether I'm going to run back seat. leaning towards half cage because not many people can fit in the back of an S13 anyway, and especially if I'm going to have bucket seats and blah 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 in it. So either way, it's going to be my next level drift car. I'm super excited for it. It's going to be street registered as well, so it means everything needs to be mod platable to an extent. And yeah, that's pretty well it. I'm super stoked to do it, and I have a lot of work to do, and I have no idea where to start now, because I got rid of the big rust spots. I've got a few more bits to tidy up, but I don't just want to keep doing back-to-back rust repair. So I think for the next video, this is more of an update, because plans change so much with it, because I'm doing a complete different engine build, and I always want to do a 2530. So, yo, Future Toki here. Alright, so since filming this little update on the S13, I tell you what, this thing is going down the rabbit hole so hard. I'm getting back-to-back ripper deals on offer that don't have a time expiry, and I can just sort this thing out. It is going to be the most bulk reliable spastic drift car I have ever had, and I'm so freaking excited for that. It's going to cost me a whole damn lot of money, but you know what a wise man once said? Be a man. Spend all your money on shit that's going to kill you. Oh, I'm so keen. It's gone down the rabbit hole so hard, but I'm so excited for where it's going. You'll see those events develop, but this thing is going to be next level. Like, for me, this thing's going to be able to hang with the big boys, no problem. Which means I have to get the 31 dialed and sorted, mint a cure bulk seat time in it, because the S13 is going to take a while now, just because of funding. But there's a lot of stuff to do on it that I can poke along with in the meantime, so that's not a big issue. I just got to keep the 31 in good running drifting order so I can still get bulk seat time, so that I'm ready for when this thing's done, because it is going to be ridiculous and I can't wait. This is like that next level build I've been excited about forever, but now it's seeming realistic and possible. Not realistic on money, but I'm going to find a way. I always do. So I'm going to make this happen. It's going to be absolutely ridiculous compared to anything else I've ever built, and I'm so keen for that. So I just thought I'd dip in on that, because it still seemed like I was just going to do sort of a semi-budget forged 2530 build for it. That was sort of my only real update on it. But if I'm going this far, what's going a little further to stop it from being, oh, I got it done and it's on track for a month and it breaks, when I can just go, boom, drop the little bit extra more on top of what I was going to spend and have it last. Next video, which I'm going to film directly after this one, and hopefully double upload. But yeah, so directly after filming this, I'm going to poke around and do a bunch of work on the S13. Not exactly sure what I'm doing yet. I don't have a plan. You'll just have to wait and find out for when the video's up. So that's kind of all. It was a bit of an update. I was out here till 4 o'clock in the morning cleaning this shed, because my logic was, I can't put this nice 25 head into a dirty shed, onto a dirty engine bench. So I went ham and cleaned the whole shed. But it's clean now, and it makes me really happy and excited to be out here, and I just want to do work on the cars. So that's going to be it for this one, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what your thoughts and inputs are for what I'm doing with the S13 and possibly what I should do. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Just a bit of an update, and I'm super excited. So leave a like if you're excited for the direction the S13's going, and for engine build that's a little bit different than just going a single cam 30 again. Single cam just works, but something different. I'm gonna have fun with this. So thank you guys, appreciate you, and see you on the next one.